Hello, very welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Live Sport Now and also the England Golf Young Ambassadors. My name is Steve Jackson and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, Steve Jackson. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this show because it is going to be a new one for us, which is going to be a little bit different from normal and will be like this for hopefully for a long period of time. So,
We will be. Look at those fancy logos up there. Look, you see them?
Absolutely, yes. Including yours.
Including mine, and yours is somewhere.
yes. I did ditch mine, but there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I said, make it even better for everybody. There you go. There it is. Progress Junior Golf.
Fantastic. There you go. ProgressJuniorGolf.com. Fantastic. Now, this podcast is all about junior golf. It's about the next generation of golfers. It's about getting more boys and girls playing the game of golf. As we mentioned, this is the 19th Progress Junior Golf podcast we've done with myself and Ian in charge. But this is the first with our co-hosts, the England Golf Young Ambassadors. So it's only right then that we give the Young Ambassadors the opportunity to tell us exactly what they do and how they can help us all progress junior golf in this country. Now, there are a number of Young Ambassadors across the country, pretty much one in each county or not far off. But we've got a couple of them on today who are going to be helping us out. One of them is a current Young Ambassador. That's Djalece van der Merwe, and someone who has been a past Young Ambassador and is now working in the golf industry. That's Aliakbar Jodiyawalla.
We've got some great guests, by the way, Steve, and it's about time because in the last couple of episodes it's just been you and me waffling, and nobody really wants to listen to that. So it's nice to have some real, proper, good guests on, some stars finally.
Absolutely, and people who know what they're talking about for a change. So,
absolutely, because I have no idea even know what day it is. So
no, that's it. But the format of the show, apart from the fact that we've got some intelligent people on for a change, will stay the same. So what that means, of course, is first things first. Let's do the latest golf news. So junior golf news then, which has been taking place since the last podcast, which was a couple of weeks ago. Some big events taking place, in particular at Woodall Spa. So England Girls Champion of Champions. This is where you have the Girls Champion of Champions from each of the counties in the country. They all play against each other to find out who is the best in the country. Played at Woodall Spa on the Bracken course, won by Isabella Kent from Berkshire. She shot 76 and 71. There she is with the trophy. Won by 4 shots. Really good finish to a round as well. Finished with 3 birdies in the last 5 holes. And as you well know, Ian, the Bracken at the Woodall Spa is not an easy golf course. So really well done to her. She got 76 and then 71 in the second round, which is actually the only under-par round in the entire tournament. So well done to her. Kiara Rushmere from Essex finished in second place. And she also actually played in the Women's County Champion of Champions event the following day, once again over 36 holes. So well done to her for playing 36 on one day and then 36 the following day. She finished 4th in that, so once again, well done. That was won by 20-year-old Luca Thompson from Pavenham Park Golf Club. She shot 69 in the first round. Really windy conditions in the second round, 79 in the second round, but held on to win by a couple of strokes. And actually, I'm really pleased that Luca won there because I know her dad very well, Zach, who Pavenham Park is one of the I think he's the general manager at Pavenham Park. Tell you a story, and a few years ago I held a junior event there, and unfortunately, it was actually supposed to be at another venue. And unfortunately, 6 days before the event was scheduled to go ahead, for whatever reason, I can't remember off the top of my head now, they had to cancel. So I was like, 6 days to go. I've got this field sorted out for this team event. What do I do? Went to Zach. Yeah, no problem at all. Held the event. Really successful day. So I'm really pleased for him. Now we're talking about progressing junior golf and promoting junior golf. That's how you do it, kind of thing. He bent over backwards to make sure that he had a golf course for us to play the event. And well done to him, and well done to his daughter Luca there for winning that event. So I'm really pleased for them. Now, England Boys Champion of Champions, that took place once again at the Woodall Spa, once again over 36 holes. Now, I mentioned earlier, Ian, about some good scoring at Woodall Spa. How about this? So the winner was Charlie Croker from Essex, 71 and 68. There he is with the trophy, 68 in his second round. That only tells half the story because his last 13 holes, he was 7 under par gross. And that included birdies on the 14th, 15th, 17th, and 18th holes. So that is the way to finish a tournament. And
do you know what, Steve? I'm not surprised. I've known Charlie for a while now, and when that boy goes on a run, boy oh boy does he go on a run.
Absolutely.
It's his name pops up a lot in the news section for all the right reasons. And I'm not surprised. Big things, Charlie.
Some of the other names who finished in the top four there: Joey Hornby from Cumbria, Morgan Blythe, someone who we know very well as well. He finished joint third with Noah Cambridge as well. I mean, just to give you an idea of the standard of play in this tournament, the top 9 players in that event all finished under par. I actually met one of them on Sunday this week, and he finished 3 under par. And he says when he walked off the golf course 3 under par, he was thinking, hey, I might have got a chance of winning here, kind of thing. And then found out he finished 6th in the end, you see.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of standard you play at, kind of thing, you know. And you've covered an event at Woodhall Spiral early this year, and I keep on mentioning that's not an easy golf course to play. So hats off to them. Really well done for the performances there.
Yeah.
Now, English Boys County Champions Team final that took place as well at Furness Golf Club in Cumbria. First time winner, Leicestershire and Rutland won this for the first time in their 120-year history. There they are with the trophy. Really close competition this is. So just to give you an idea of how it works, you've got 4 regional winners who play in the event. You play a round robin, you play against all the 3 other counties. So it's Gloucestershire, Yorkshire and Kent with the 3 counties. Leicestershire beat Gloucestershire on the first day 5-4. Actually lost to Yorkshire on the second day 3.5. But as it panned out, all 4 teams had all won 1 match going into that final day. So it pretty much all came down to win your match on the final day and then hope that you beat whoever wins the other match by a bigger margin. Now, as it panned out, Gloucestershire beat Yorkshire. So Leicestershire then knew that they had to, I think they won 5-4. So Leicestershire knew that they had to win by 5.5, 3.5 on that final day. Well, they won 6-3. So they won actually by half a point in the end. The key to the victory was winning all 3 morning pairs matches, and then eventually Ethan Bell was the one who halved the last match. And actually a special mention as well for a lad called Fraser Jones. I don't know if you want to put the photo back up and point out which one Fraser was, but he won 5 of his 6.
There you go.
No,
Apologies.
There you go. Bottom left there, holding the trophy there. He won 5 of his 6 matches. That's a player which we probably I think we have mentioned him before, because I think he won a Midlands event a few weeks ago. He's one to watch out for as well. We mentioned Charlie there. He's another one who's got a lot of talent, and I know his dad really well. Good parents behind him, and you can tell, you know, when you have that, when you have got settled parents, they've never put any pressure on him to play golf, and you're seeing the results now. So well done to him. Well done to Leicestershire and Rutland as well. Gloucestershire finished second, Yorkshire finished third, and Kent finished fourth in there. Now,
go on, Yorkshire. Go on, Yorkshire.
Yes. Now, now you've kind of like given it away a little bit here. Let's go north of the border. Let's get that photo up again.
Shall we? There we go.
There we go. No, so that was North East Scotland team. They won this Scottish area boys final. Once again, a first-time winner of this event. This took place at Gleddock Golf Club. Now, they did really well, because after the slightly different format here, but they were fourth in the team event after the morning foursomes. But Fraser Laird, Scott Spark, Callum Bruce and Kobe Butchon, they played really well in the afternoon singles and eventually went on to win by 4 shots clear of Lothian. So well done to them. Now, back down to this side of the border then, to England, the Peter McAvoy Trophy, which took place in Warwickshire. So there's can't get my fingers right here. Warwickshire, on Weathertop. So
other side, Steve. Other side.
That's it. Yeah. Pointed in the wrong direction. Anyway, whatever. Right. Jack Wee won the Peter McAvoy Trophy. This took place at Copt Heath Golf Club. He won by 4 shots. Actually, interesting scoring. It was 36 holes on 2 consecutive days. 66 he started with, then a 75, then a 71. So dropping out of contention then, and then storms back with a 68 on the final afternoon to win. The only player who finished under par actually was 4 under par. Second place was Isla McDonald O'Brien, another player who we know from the Faldo series. She finished on level
lots
par.
Lots of mentions, yeah. Absolutely,
yeah. And she finished strongly as well. She finished with a 67. So really good play there. Another player from Warwickshire, although Jack's not from Warwickshire, Jack's actually from Kent, Rochester and Cobham. But another player from Warwickshire, Seb Cave, he won the Mere Trophy by 5 shots. And this included 2, not just 1, but 2 hole-out eagles from the middle of the fairway from 80 yards out in his round. I mean, that's the way to do it, isn't it?
That is the way to do it.
It was a shotgun start. So his first eagle in his first round was actually on the 18th hole. I think it was something like, it's 6th or 7th hole actually in the round. And then the 5th hole in his second round, which was actually the 17th hole. So obviously coming towards the end there, getting a bit tight. goes and slams it, dunks it for an eagle on his penultimate hole. Eventually went on to win by 5 shots, so did really well there. Luke Kelly finished in 2nd place.
So sorry, shotgun start, did you say there, Steve?
Yeah, a bit unusual, that, isn't it? I don't know what other tours do that type of thing. Do you know?
Future. I think it's the future, to be honest.
Yes. Anyone who has no idea what we're talking about there, we have got a podcast last week where we discussed, a few weeks ago where we discussed this. So have a look out on Progress Junior Golf. We've got some of the old podcasts are on there if you want to have a look and see what we've been talking about.
Here's a clue. It's not the Rory tour.
No, that's it. Yes, bit of a clue. Right, let's go back north of the border then. Junior Tour Scotland, Merkel Links. They had so boys competition, girls competition. It was won by Ollie Blackadder. I just wanted to mention his name. That's the only reason I put this in the news kind of thing. Anyone who's got the surname Blackadder, great. Actually, to be fair,
they've already won, haven't they? You might just hand them that green jacket at Augusta.
Absolutely, yeah. 17 shots. So well done to him. The girls was won by Leah. Actually, joint winners Leah Bryce and Casey Robertson. They've got the Order of Merit, which is coming to. They've got the grand final coming up. The leaders of the Order of Merit. So boys under 18s, Alex McGilvery. Under 16s, Jack Mann. Under 14s is Boyd Gray. Girls gross is Freya Russell, and the leader of the girls net is Holly McKenzie. Like I say, they've got the grand final coming up. That takes place on October the 8th and 9th. That's up 36 holes at St Andrews. They're playing the Jubilee course up there, so that's going to be a fantastic event. Right, moving on to the other side of the Irish Sea then. Irish Junior Open Tour. A couple of big events they've had towards the end of last month, which we didn't cover, so we're going to cover them now. They had a Summer Tour Major, which is named for the Gary Player Trophy. That took place at Killymoon Golf Club. Age categories under 7, under 9s, under 11s, under 13s, under 15s, and also an under 19s competition as well there. Perhaps the standout performers as far as the gross concerned, the under 9s, James Reynolds and Flynn Hassan both shot a 2 under par 33, played over 9 holes. The best net score, which was over 18 holes, was Charlie O'Hara with a, go on, have a guess. I know you'll enjoy doing this. What do you think his net score was?
No. Oh, God knows, Steve. Because I'm always so wrong. I'm just always so wrong. Go on, tell me.
13 under par. Net 57. 13 under par. So not bad going.
I would have said that.
No,
I would have said that.
A few days later, the Autumn Tour, they had the Ping Trophy, which took place at Burr Golf Club. Once again, same age categories there. Perhaps the standout one there was, again, the under 9s category. Some good young players coming through over in Ireland. Taylor Kelly, 5 under par, gross. Over 9 holes. So 31 there. Best net score then. Go on then. Give us your guess then. What do you reckon the best net score was then?
Well, 5 over 9. I'm going to say 13 again. Then.
Yeah, not even close. 33 under par.
Oh my God.
Net 37. So if someone said to you, I've just won the tournament with 37, you'd go 37 points. Oh, done. No. Net 37. Oh, over 9 holes. Well done. No. Over 18 holes.
Yeah.
That is Kyle Sheeran. So there's one to watch out for there as well. So
we always play this game, and you always know that I'm going to get it completely wrong. Yes. You do it to me on purpose, Steve.
Absolutely. 13 under par was a pretty good guess, I thought. But there you go. So, right. Now, I think it's fair to say this next tournament, as I say, if someone comes in with a 37 over 18 holes, there's going to be some question asked. Faudo Series have got a big event coming up on Tuesday, September 27th, over in France, being played at Le Golf National, where the Ryder Cup was held. Massive tournament this, because the prizes on offer here are staggering, because the winner of this tournament will get an invite to play on the DP World Tour. Second place gets an invite for the Challenge Tour. Third place gets an invite for the Challenge Tour as well. So they have got one heck of a field. We mentioned some of the players who played in the Champion of Champions. They've got the name down for this event. So this is a real big one over in France for the Faudo Series. I know they've been really pushing this hard and trying to get as quality field, and it is there. And that will. Yeah. The next podcast will actually be the following day. So hopefully we'll have the results from that in the next podcast, so we can tell you who's won that, and find out who's going to be playing on the DP World Tour. The proper tour. Not just any old live tour, the proper tour kind of thing. So.
Yeah, the European DP, the feeder, whatever it's called these days. Although, look, I say all this stuff. I am a fan of the PGA Tour and DP World. So
absolutely, yes.
I jest, but yeah.
Hey, look, that's a great spot there to play against some top quality players. So yeah.
Oh, that is what a price! Unbelievable.
Absolutely, yeah. So well done to Nick Fowler and Matthew, his son as well, for sorting that out. So well done to all those guys. Right, finally, we're going to finish with a video here. This is a video which took place at the US Kids Golf Regional Tournament at Seaview Golf Club in New Jersey. The golfer in question here is a guy called Jodiyawalla. Just watch this.
All right, you're down by 2, Djalece. We need a hole in 1 here. Nice and smooth, okay? Good job, Djalece. Yeah, I got it. Give him a good job. Say thank you. Say thank you. Good job. Give me a high five. You want to stand next? Oh, stand next to the pin real quick. Take a picture.
Oh, first hole in 1, age 6 years old. I'm still waiting.
Absolutely, yeah. And I tell you what, if you did do it, you'd have some kind of reaction like that as well. So hey, that's what junior golf is all about, isn't it? Look, we all hope and dream that we might do that one day, but that's the kind of reaction you get when special things happen. So I think that perfectly wraps up the junior news this week. So let's move on. It
certainly does. Yeah, exactly, Steve. No, look, before we do bring the guests in, I do just want to say as well, if you do have a question at any time, please do comment below. We can see your comments. If you actually comment in the live chat section on our YouTube channel, Live Sport Now, we can show your comment on screen as well. So if you do want to ask a question, you do want to find out more, then please do comment below. Or if you want to find out more, of course, about Progress Junior Golf, that's the website there. There's also a link in the body of this broadcast that you straight through to progressjuniorgolf.com for you. That's the sort of sales side done. Steve, over to you.
Okay, so the podcast today, we're going to be talking about the young ambassadors. They are joining up now with the Progress Junior Golf podcast. They're going to be coming on a regular basis now over the weeks and months ahead. We're going to be covering a lot of different topics with them. But I think it's really important that we find out what exactly is a young ambassador, because it sounds like a great job, great title for young kids out there, and I know that they are looking for more young ambassadors. There are opportunities now to apply to become one. So let's get one who's been there, done it, got the postcard, and someone who's going through the process at the moment as well. So we've got 2 special guests. We've got Djalece van der Merwe and Aliakbar Jodiyawalla. Let's bring the guest on.
I'll bring him in, and I'm going to say cheerio.
Hello guys, how are we doing this evening?
Very well, thank you, Steve. How about you?
Good. And has anyone had a hole in 1 at the age of 6 yet? No, didn't think so.
Definitely not.
No, definitely not. No, but I mean, isn't that what all junior golf is about though? When you see those types of scenes there. So, right, okay, let's take you step by step here. Then let's go into a little bit of the background of why you are young ambassadors. So let's start with Ali first of all. Then Ali, how did you get into golf? What kind of age were you? And just give us the background of how that happened.
So I got into golf through my dad. He started up through work and he took me down to the driving range at about 13, and I just picked up the clubs, was hitting balls with him, and then he just got into it through there basically. And went to some lessons, and as the weeks went on, I basically loved it, and I just wanted to keep going back. As soon as I finished, I can go to the driving range today, can go to the golf course, and yeah, it just sort of snowballed from there, to be honest.
And how old were you when that happened?
Probably about 13.
Okay. So was that almost late? Did you feel as if you were getting into it late at that age?
I think at the time, probably not, because everyone around me, it was sort of like the stereotype that you play golf when you're older. But now I look back at it and I talk to the juniors, I look at the juniors that come to the club. Yeah, I probably think 13 is quite actually a late age to start playing golf.
What about yourself, Djalece? How old were you, and what were the circumstances of when you first started playing?
So I think I was about 7 or 8-ish, so I was a bit younger. And I actually started playing with my twin sister. And we played because our dad wanted someone to play with, so he just got us some lessons and we started having a go.
And when I think that you played on the British Junior Golf Tour, did you play on some of those tours when you were younger? Is that correct, or did you get into competitive golf?
Yeah, I did. But yeah, with my sister.
Yeah, I might even have some photos of you. Actually, I could have stitched you up there, couldn't I? I could have dug some of those out and used those against you. Anyway, look, I'm not that cruel. But so when you first started getting into the game, then how did you feel when you first started playing? Were you nervous about, Ali mentioned that, and you might even mentioned it as well, in the sense of feel a little bit as an old sport to get involved with? Was that the case?
I suppose it might have felt like that a little bit, because obviously we were getting like dragged along with our dad to go and have a go. But honestly, once you get into it, it does seem quite daunting, because you do think it's maybe for an older person sport or it's for men. But really, I think once you get into it, you realize how amazing it is. And I really think that, well, that's sort of the message we want to bring as junior golfers, is to show that anyone can have fun and do it, especially junior girls.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, we've got the perfect scenario here, because obviously we've got a girl on, and also with Ali with from an Asian background as well. Did you have a feeling as well, as a junior and as an Asian junior as well, that there was barriers there which you had to overcome?
Yeah, to an extent. I think as I was at that age, it was definitely more the junior factor. But as I got a couple of years older, probably around 15, 16 mark, yeah, I thought the lack of coloured people, I suppose, or the lack of ethnic minorities, it was definitely a struggle sometimes to see people older than me that I could relate to a little bit more. But I mean, I think it's breaking down a lot more now. There is a lot more people of ethnic minorities in that field and in the sport, and we just need to keep pushing it. Basically, it's such a great sport, so everyone should really go to take part and see how great the effects of it are.
Were there other Asian golfers who you played with at that time, or were you the only one?
For the first year or so, I think I was the only one. And then in the actual junior academy, there was one other, but he was quite a bit younger than me. He was 8 or 9 when I was 13, 14. So, yeah, no one that I played with on a regular basis was Asian as well.
And obviously with you, Djalece, you mentioned you were there with your twin sister, and I suppose that helped in the sense that there was 2 of you. So at least you knew you had one other person who was another girl, and obviously goes out saying the same age as you as well.
Yes, that definitely helps.
What about did you make at that age? Were you playing with other girls as well, or was it boys and girls? Were you kept away from the boys? I don't know. How did it work at that age?
I think we sort of had, like, when we did our coaching groups, I think we mostly had like girls coaching sessions. So we were sort of separated from the boys, which I think is a little bit of a shame, to be honest, because I think it would have been good to sort of mix us and have some good competition between the boys and girls. But yeah, we were mostly focused with girls sort of coaching when we started.
And when did you become a member of the golf club? When did you move from just doing the coaching and just trying to like learn the game to actually becoming a member of the golf club?
So once we started like playing a bit more regularly, and we thought we're probably good enough now to be sort of playing on a course instead of just practicing on a driving range, then we sort of thought we should get a membership so we can play more regularly.
And yourself, Ali, when did you actually become a member of a golf club?
Probably similar, to be fair. It was maybe like a year later, when I was probably playing a lot more golf. I felt a bit more confident to go out on the course. I've probably been out a few times as well, so I had a bit of confidence to go out there and play. That's when I probably took membership out about a year, yeah.
And when was the first competition, and how did you feel when you had that first competition?
I think the first one I played in the junior competitions, but they were all people that I was in lessons with, so I felt less stressed at that time. But it was still quite daunting when you step onto the first team. You've got a few people watching you, and you don't really want to top one off the tee or put it in the trees or something.
And I mentioned Djalece there about junior tours and things like that. Was it just club competitions that you played in at that age, or did you try and expand and do other things as well?
I only played really club comps through my whole junior career. I might have played a few junior opens at most, but other than that, it was all club comps. I think I was never the best golfer, in my personal opinion, so I just don't think I had the confidence to go out and go and play serious tours and stuff. But in hindsight, I wish I kind of had now.
What kind of standard did you? I say did you? I think like this is the past for you, Djalece. But what kind of standard of golf did you play at? Do you? I should say.
Yeah, so mainly sort of similar to Ali, really. It would be like club competitions, and then as I progressed, I started playing for county. And at the moment, I'm the Shropshire County captain, so I've been there quite a long time now. But main competitions would be within the Shropshire County, and then I did a few with my sister, which is bigger competitions and tours.
So obviously we are going to be talking about how you became a young ambassador. I suppose the beauty about having the two of you on here is very different backgrounds. So obviously Djalece has obviously played to a decent standard, played for your county, whereas Ali less so. So it kind of says to people out there that young ambassadors, they are looking for different types of people. So just go through the process. Obviously you, Ali, first, because you were you one of the first young ambassadors? Because when was the scheme first set up? Were you one of the first ones that ever joined the scheme?
Yeah, so I was actually on the England Golf Youth panel before. So the youth panel was like the equivalent to the young ambassadors before the young ambassadors were a thing. And then after that they basically scrapped the youth panel and made the young ambassadors instead. I was told about it, so I applied, and I was part of the first cohort of young ambassadors at England Golf and the Golf Fund.
So why did you? Okay, you mentioned the youth panel there. Then, so why did you join that in the first place? What attracted you to doing that?
So I think it just goes back to the fact I enjoyed playing golf. Well, I used to do a lot of voluntary work down at my local club when I was about 15. Just helping with the junior lessons each day, just doing all of. So when I was at my junior academy, there was 5 or 6 lessons on a Saturday. Mine was the last one, so I'd spend all day there helping out in the other lessons. And the coach I used to help out, he was with the youth panel, so he put me on that. And I've just been really passionate about junior golf and helping out in the tier, and that sort of just led me down the path into the young ambassadors, and I've continued to stay passionate and stay involved even now in the junior section of my club.
I mean, that is unusual, isn't it? If we're being honest, for a youngster to volunteer and get involved, you might go along to the coaching, but not necessarily get involved with the volunteering side of things. Why did you want to do that at that age?
I don't. There was no real reason for it at the time. I just to see what it was like. I just enjoyed being involved, playing with the younger juniors. I'd normally, when I was volunteering at that age, a lot of the time I'd go get the range balls at the start, and then I'd get involved and play against the juniors, encourage them to work hard really and get involved in lessons, be interactive, take part in the games. So I was just there to make sure they're having fun more than anything else, and I just enjoyed having a laugh with them and making sure they're having a good time.
Is that something you did as well, Djalece? Were you involved with helping out voluntary with your own club?
Yeah, I've been volunteering to help with like girls coaching. I've done a bit of boys and girls, but mainly girls coaching at my club, and I've been doing that for some time now. So yeah.
Why did you do that then?
Well, I wanted to help out our club pro, who is the junior coach, because he supported us for so long, for so many years. So firstly, I wanted to help him out, and I wanted to gain a bit more experience. And maybe I thought if I could help and volunteer, I might be able to get more people into the game, and then we can get more competition into the club, more people playing.
I mean, I said to Ali that it's rare that someone at that age would do something like that. Did you feel that you were doing something a little bit different from perhaps other people in your club or other people in other club?
I think, yeah, it might have been it was a little bit daunting because we were sort of like the first ones to help out, but I had my sister with me as well, so it's not so bad when I've got her as well.
And when did the opportunity, and how did the opportunity of becoming a young ambassador crop up with yourself? How did you even hear about it for a start?
So around the time I was applying to be a young ambassador, I was at that point the vice captain of the county, and I was recommended to have a look into the county ambassadors, not England, but the county ambassadors. And then as I was doing work for the county ambassadors, they told me that I should apply for the England golf ambassadors. So I did, and then I was able to get into that.
Did you get involved, Ali, in the county side of it, or did you just go straight from club to national?
So it's pretty much straight to national for me. It's quite a big jump, and daunting at first meeting, but I haven't looked back since.
So we are talking about obviously the process of trying to become a young ambassador and how that happens, kind of thing. Now, obviously, with the Djalece, your sister, did she want to do it as well, or was it just you who wanted to do it and she wanted to take a step backwards?
I think so, because the year before me, she was the county captain. So I feel like she'd sort of already done most of her work that she wanted to do, and she was moving on to maybe some other things. But I felt like I had the time and I was able to continue with the golf ambassadors.
Okay, so it's obviously a question for Ali, because what does a young ambassador do there? What did you do when you were in the role? And actually, first question, how long are you a young ambassador? I suppose it depends on how old you were when you first become one, but how long were you a young ambassador?
So I think now you're a young ambassador for 2 years. So in a sense, I was quite lucky because I was for a bit longer than that. There wasn't exactly a time frame on it when I first became one. So I was on for 3 years, but now it's 2 years, and then I was a mentor for this year. So altogether, I was in the program for 4 years.
And what did you do? What was some of your main responsibilities, if you like? Is that the right word? Did you feel as if it was a responsibility what you were doing?
Yeah, to an extent, I'd say it is a responsibility. I mean, if you're going to become an ambassador, it is important to stay interactive and do what you are there to do. But yeah, the actual job relies in what you can and can't. So even things like the BMWPGA, which you just gone by, we go to events like that and we volunteer with the Golf Foundation in the Golf Zone. We used to go to county inns at Wool Spa and put across the opinion of people. And then we'd also have meetings throughout the year where we'd have different agendas for each meeting, and we talk about how we're each going to push junior golf and the voice of junior golf in our own counties, back in our own clubs. How can that then be developed to a national level as well? So the jobs varied quite a lot, and I know that there's even more that we're doing now, and the current ambassadors are doing now with different projects that they have.
Yeah, I think Ian might even have a photo of one of your young ambassadors working this week at the BMW Championship. I don't know if Ian can actually put it up here, but when you are covering there's Kai Williams who's been on the podcast a few weeks ago talking about racism in junior golf. But when you are representing England Golf and the Golf Foundation at these big events, I mean, how kind of come back to that word responsibility? But it must be really good fun to do it. But at the same time, is it a lot on your shoulders as a young person?
Yeah, I think when you first get there, it's a little bit nervy. it's still new surroundings to you. But I mean, you've always got a golf foundation in golf, so really friendly. They'll ease you into it. They won't push you to do anything you're not comfortable doing. And then I think once you've been there for the first half an hour and you've started interacting with a few juniors that are around, you really get into the swing of things. And I think I was quite lucky in that sense because I'd done a fair bit of junior workload. Once I started to feel comfortable, it's so much fun, and like I absolutely loved it. And it didn't feel like work. I didn't feel like I was having a day at work or anything. Just felt like I was on a day out and I was just helping out and just having fun with it.
Is that something you've done, Djalece? Have you gone along to some of these events and had to do the things which we just saw there with Kai, working with young kids? And how did that feel if you did do this?
So I have been doing some of those things, and I found them really, really amazing. It was really fun to be able to work with all the young ones, and they're so excited because they've never really been introduced to golf before. This is like a first for them. And it's so interesting to see, obviously, the parents, like sometimes like the dads want to get their kids into it. Be like, maybe have a go with this plastic club and see how their kids might react. And then sometimes parents are like, oh, this is actually really good. Maybe we can get them into maybe a club setting, maybe get them some lessons and see if we can take it further. But I actually found one of the coolest experiences I've had was volunteering at a blind golf competition to like kind of ball spot and help out the players. And I found that really, it was sort of eye-opening. It was really amazing to be able to see that, and I felt really proud to be able to get involved into that.
So were you involved in the same event which Emily, I think it was Emily Horsted, who's been on the podcast previously? I think she was at a very similar event. Were you at the same event? I don't know if we've lost the connection there a little bit, or whether you could hear the question. But so just going with you then, Ali, is you mentioned the word nerves there, and I mean, I met you a few years ago, and I don't think you're going to disagree with me when I say this, but you weren't the most how do I word this, presentation and putting your view across. And how much help has this done you by putting yourself in those positions and being able to work with kids, which isn't easy at times?
Yeah, I think I always say that probably had the biggest impact on my confidence, my ability to say things to the right audience in the right way. It's helped that massively. I remember when I started volunteering, I could barely say 5 words, 10 words, and I'd be proper nervous to even hit a shot that I've hit 1,000 times on the range. But then towards the end of my volunteering, I was confident I'd go and speak to the parents before the lessons. I'd go and talk to the juniors and I'd laugh at them before the lesson had even started. And yeah, I was just a lot more confident after my work with the young ambassadors and volunteering at these events. I felt a lot more of an extrovert compared to when I first started. I was probably more of an introvert and kept myself to myself.
So Ali twice there has used the word nervous. Is that something which you had when you first started doing this, Djalece? That a little bit of nerves trying to when you're covering these events?
Yeah, definitely. I can't pretend that you don't feel a little bit of nerves when you're starting to get into the volunteering. You are going to feel like nerves if you do want to volunteer, but I think it's so worth it afterwards, and you build up your confidence as you volunteer more and more, and I think it's really good.
And appearing on a podcast, I mean, do you I suppose a question for both of you, can you imagine like 3 or 4 years ago doing something like this? Could you imagine back then appearing on here and having, if you like, the world watching you? Is that something which you, even now, you look back and go, wow, how on earth could I get to this stage?
Yeah, it's definitely, I find it an amazing opportunity, but I definitely wouldn't have thought I would have done that a few years ago.
Can you compare it with actually playing the game of golf? Because obviously there's nerves when you play golf. We've all had that situation whereby you've stood on that first tee and there's a group of people watching you and you think, I think we mentioned it a little earlier, don't top it on the first tee, that kind of mentality, and can you relate it to your golf as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're always going to be nervous, whatever sport you play, but especially golf. And because it's not really a team sport, you have to focus on yourself and you only have yourself there, really. So I think nerves definitely come into play. And I think playing also helps really just building up your confidence.
When you first, this will be a question to both of you, but you first, Djalece. When you first got the role of the England ambassadors, what were your expectations and what did you hope to do? I know with yourself you're still doing it kind of thing, but what did you want to do out of this?
Yeah, so my main goal in becoming an England golf ambassador was to sort of help across England, try and get the word out, try and get more kids to like want to be involved in golf and have a go maybe. And even if it's just part of like helping out my county, I find it like it's really important to me to be able to do that and try and get more people involved into playing and not being so scared of it.
And was that similar with yourself, Ali?
Yeah, so definitely. I think it's just trying to change representation, just show how fun it can be for juniors and try and get more juniors involved in the sport from a young age.
And I suppose the acid question is, do you feel that in the time that you were there in the young ambassadors role, do you feel as if you did do that? Did you feel that it was better at the end than it was at the start?
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to measure, but from a personal perspective, I think we definitely made an impact, and they're still continuing to make an impact to this day. But yeah, it's not the easiest of jobs, and it's not going to be a quick thing that you can just fix overnight. But it's definitely heading in the right direction.
Now, I think I'm right in thinking you were part of the initial process which brought in the Heroes Handshake. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the cohort I was part of, we originally made the Heroes Handshake, and I took lead on it to extend for the first couple of years as well.
And you're now part of that process which tries to find these people who get these Heroes Handshakes. We had Katie Amos on in the last podcast talking about how you do this. So just give us an idea of when you're sat in that room, and Katie was making the point whereby it can be very difficult to go, yeah, we're going with that one as opposed to that one, whereby they're all really good causes.
Yeah, it is really hard. I mean, you have so many different people that have done so many different things, and you almost have to say, oh, actually, that person's done a bit more than that person, when they haven't really. They've just done something else. But I think that's the best thing about having a team of 3 or 4. You can all bounce ideas off each other. You can give you reasons as to why you think. And if she is consistently coming out on top, it makes the decision to choose that person a little bit easier. But it's not easy, and there's so many great things. You almost feel bad for not picking other people.
So obviously that was something which Ali brought in with the Heroes Handshake. Are you going to give us a sneak preview here then, Djalece? Are you going to tell us some of the things which you're looking to possibly bring in during your year or 2 years in the role? Are you going to give us a sneak preview?
Well, at the moment, I'm also part of the Heroes Handshake, so I sort of help out with that. But I know I'll be able to change my role with each year that comes. And I know that there's a big like social media aspect. So I'd be looking forward, maybe wanting to get involved with some of that, being able to spread the word a little bit more on social media. But currently with the Heroes Handshake, I've really enjoyed being able to sort of like Ali said, trying to decide who should get the award, but also the most rewarding part is being able to give that award. And unfortunately, because of the COVID happening at the moment, we've had to do like online calls and Zoom calls to be able to present awards. But even still, it's really amazing to see families and everything being brought together with being able to present the award to them.
And who is your target? Who are you looking to talk to? Are you looking to talk to golf clubs? Are you looking to talk to national bodies? Are you looking to talk to counties? Are you looking to talk to parents? I mean, presumably you're looking to talk to everyone, but there must be some kind of targeting where you go, let's start trying to get to them.
Yeah, so I think mainly, obviously, we want to target everything, but really golf clubs, it's really important for us to be able to get sort of like encourage people, because we do have these golf clubs and members. They're the ones who nominate these people. So it's really them that we're sort of targeting.
And as far as the young ambassador is concerned, we're going to come to the point whereby how you become a young ambassador. So that's what to go through that process now then. So how did you then? Where did you find out about it, and then what did you have to do to become one? Then just go through the what happened in your case, then, Djalece.
Yeah. So, as I said before, after being in the county sort of ambassadors, I was recommended to try the England Golf Ambassadors, and I think all it was really was an online application that I had to fill out, and I had to do an online interview, which sort of like I had some questions given to me, and then I had to record responses, and then those got sent to the England Golf Ambassador team. And so then I had to wait for that. And then I was told that I had gotten it, and I had to go to a meeting to be able to meet everyone. And it was really exciting.
So just out of interest here, and I could be dropping you in it big time here, Ali, were you part of that team which decided that Djalece was one of the young ambassadors, which she should become one?
Yes, there's a recruitment day, I believe, as well. So a lot of people that got shortlisted were brought to that, and we had to score people based on some of the activities that they did, and that was all as well. So yeah, it partially, it wasn't all just the ambassadors, but all of us ambassadors involved in that. They did go back to Alice and Golf and Golf Foundation, England Golf, and yeah.
So I suppose it's almost exactly the same situation with the heroes handshake, is the fact that how do you choose one from another, because they all have very good reasons to become young ambassadors, and it must be, it must be difficult.
Yeah, it is really hard. I think when you have these situations, it always makes you think there's so many people doing so many great things, and I've always said that sometimes when we're picking people, you almost look at yourself and you think, actually, maybe not, or these people doing more than me, because it's great jobs. But yeah, it is really, really difficult. Only so many people get picked to be an ambassador, but it's not to say that there's so many more people out there that are doing just as much great work.
And one of the points which when Alice Lowe came on the show a few weeks ago is the fact that it's not just very good golfers who and it could be disabled golfers, it could be very young golfers, it could be all sorts of different people from different backgrounds. So it's not just a case of one size fits all. You are looking for different people who can give different perspectives. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Is we always try and find people that represent each different type player or golfer as such. So we don't want everyone that's a scratch golfer that's trying to become the next Rory McIlroy or Charlie Hill. We want people that are trying to become good golfers. We want people that are just interested in getting more ladies into golf, junior girls into golf. It needs to represent everyone in junior people on a whole, not just one type of junior list.
But at the same time, obviously, Djalece is a pretty good example whereby if you are a very good golfer, and you represent your county, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're off limits, because you can still bring something to the table. Presumably, when you went into that interview, you can come in with a perspective whereby, well, I can look at it from a girl who's come through and can come with that angle. Is that when you held through the interview process, is that something whereby you thought that's something which I can help the counties, the clubs with?
Yeah, definitely, especially with the girls sort of angle. Obviously, I want to focus to getting girls into golf, really, because it's sort of seen as like a boys' sort of game. So I think I might have mentioned that actually in my interview, perhaps, about how wanting to focus on getting girls and getting rid of sort of prejudices of the sport.
So Ali, then just explain then, so we've kind of mentioned about how Djalece went through the process then. How exactly, if there's someone watching this now and goes, right, I would like to go through this process, how would they go about doing it? What would they have to do?
So if you head over to the England Golf website, you can fill in the application form there. You fill it all in online, and then they will send you an email, which basically you need to do an interview, which you send back from the recruitment process. They'll go through them, and they'll go through all of the applications that get sent in, and then there'll be a recruitment day, which you're then invited to if you do get shortlisted, and then from there you'll find out if you make it.
And from start to finish, I don't know the exact date of when the applications need to be in by, but will it take a month, 2 months? How long will it take before the next lot of ambassadors are confirmed?
I think it's normally about a month, but then they start to get basically in. I think recruitment day is in November, off the top of my head. So they can basically do the first meeting back end of this year with the new ambassadors and some of the current ambassadors, so they can gel well as a team and basically get kickstarted for the next year.
And when you got that call, Djalece, or email or whatever came through to say, yes, we'd like you to become a young ambassador, what were your initial feelings straight away?
Well, firstly, I was super excited because, to be honest, I wasn't sure, I wasn't expecting to really be getting a position, because I expected a lot of people would have been applying for that role. So mainly I was super excited to have the opportunity. And then I was thinking of all the things that I might be able to do in that group.
And when was that? So when did you start your term?
So I think it's been about a year now. So it would have been about a year ago.
Okay, and what have you done during that year then? Because obviously we asked the question about what your aims and targets were. During that year, do you feel as if you have made progress, and do you still feel as if there's a lot more for you to do though?
I do feel, yes, that there is still a lot more that can be done, but I do have a while left in the team, so I'm going to do my best for as long as I have. But so far, I have been able to get involved in many things, like the opportunities like festivals and volunteering work and things like that, being able to volunteer at competitions, and also mainly working with the England golf team, together with my county Shropshire team. I find that's been really good as well, working those two groups together. So I've also been able to focus a lot on my county as well.
And from a selfish point, we've talked about how you can help other junior golfers and how you can develop the game. From your point of view, what do you feel as if, confidence is a word which has cropped up quite often in this podcast, but what do you feel as if personally you can gain out of this?
So personally, aside from confidence, there are other skills you can get from being involved in all these roles. Obviously, being able to speak to other people, like problem solving tasks and things like that, because we do work in teams, so you do a lot of teamwork involved things. So sort of things that you might expect to see in the future if you're doing work and things like that. It'll be really good for any applications you do by saying you've been involved in these sorts of things. So I think selfishly you can say this is great for my CV sort of thing.
And Ali, are you the case point exactly of how it has helped your career? Because you have stayed in the golf industry, you're working for a golf club at the moment. So just explain what happened when you finished with the England Golf Ambassador. I know you're still involved as in an advisory role, but how it's helped you.
Yeah, it's been massive. I think the first thing I noticed was the part of the unit, something I could put on my personal statement and stuff that I'd done, especially doing a golf degree that I did. Having done work in golf, and the Golf Foundation was massive. It was something I could really show off, and it helped massively. It just puts you in the right places at the right time to meet the right people in the industry as well. It gets your name out there. And when I went to get a job again, it was a booster because I've been involved in teamwork. It's given me great interpersonal skills, which I can apply to a industry situation. And I think it was massive for me because I wanted to work in the golf industry. It was all golf related, so it just intertwined really nicely. But it definitely helped me massively with where I am now.
And from a specific junior point of view, presumably you can go into situations and say, well, hold on a second here, that's not necessarily a way that a junior would look at it. Why don't we look at it from a different perspective? And are your management, the people who you work for, are they listening to that and going, we haven't even thought of that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to get on really well with my director, and I sit on the committee as part of the shop, but it means quite often other things are brought up about junior golf, and it's quite hard to be there. Well, hold on a second, you made that decision, but has anyone actually spoke to the junior organiser? Has anyone actually spoke to any of the juniors that are at the club? Their opinion, and quite often they'll sit there and think, oh no, but we didn't think to do that, and it's like we speak to them, you might get the same answer out of it. They might be able to give you a better idea with something that they'd much rather have. So it's definitely helpful, and having that background has pushed me to feel more confident to say those things.
And with you, Djalece, I know it's early stages now, but do you feel as if you are getting better responses just on the basis that you can now come with a different angle and they are listening to what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think because of our point of view, because we're younger, I feel like we definitely have a lot of good points we can bring to them, and they are so good. The older members and the organisers, they're so good at listening to us, and we're able to comfortably put our ideas forward. We're always listened to, and especially with things like social media, we find that's a really good opportunity to be able to reach out to younger people, because you can often find them on like social media.
It's funny because I was at the golf competition or playing around the golf today with a junior organizer, and we had a conversation about social media, and he was saying about, yes, in the role that he has, which is nothing to do with golf, but he was saying he had to teach the adults at that particular company to use Facebook, and I was like making the point to him whereby, and I'm sure hopefully you'll back me up on this, in the sense of juniors sometimes look at something like Facebook as that's almost like the 1940s. It's now completely different social media now. And that's something which you can, even to someone like myself who thinks they're pretty good on social media, we can learn from, because you're going to know what a junior wants from social media as opposed to what an adult thinks a junior wants. Have I got it right there, or am I miles out?
I think you're bang on, Steve.
So, okay, so with that in mind, is that something which more adults should be aware of, the fact that there are different methods of getting to juniors, and the fact that if we had this conversation 20 years ago, we'd have been talking about news. We'd have had this conversation 10 years ago, we'd have been talking about internet. So how important is the fact that that adults do learn from you?
I think it's really important. I think it'll always be important that we do sort of need to keep up. I'm sure when Ali and I are a lot older, the younger ones will be telling us about all the things that we need to keep up with. But I think it will always be like that.
It's funny, and is that something, obviously, with the young ambassadors in mind, when you're looking for a candidate? This is obviously probably one more for you, Ali, here. But when you're looking for a candidate, if there's someone there who can say, well, I'm learning now, I know more about social media, I've got that, is that something which would be key that you, when the applications come in? I'm trying to give a few tips here for people who might be looking to get an application. Is that something which they might be very keen to try and really push?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And with social media being one of the groups that we look at, as similar to the areas I'm checking, we have a social media account. It's just really important that you across the various platforms that are being used at the moment. It's definitely something to highlight, because it's a key element of the young ambassadors in promoting what we do and promoting junior golf. And with it, there being so many platforms now being used, it's a key skill.
Now, obviously, we are on social media. This podcast is all about junior golf. We're going to be covering a lot of subjects with the young ambassadors over the weeks and months ahead. We're going to drop you in here, Djalece. What subjects do you think we should be covering? Which are the important ones out there, whereby we've covered a lot of topics so far, but there's so many things out there. I know one which has been particularly important to you in recent months, and it's important to the world, is sustainability within golf. And obviously that is important, very important for juniors, because you are the future of golf.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had this sort of discussion and a meeting about it with the England Golf Ambassadors, and I think sustainability is one of the things you don't really think about, really, do you, when you think about sports and things like that. But sustainability is so important for to be able to support clubs and things like that, so they can keep going, and to be able to support juniors, because there's always going to be more juniors, so we need to be able to support them.
And obviously sustainability from a climate point of view as well. And I know that you've been part of a scheme, I think, doing bottles or things like that. Just explain a little bit about that. We'll obviously go into more details when we do the podcast on this subject, but just briefly explain a little bit about what you've done.
Yeah, so we've been trying to promote. We've been given special bottles, so we don't have anything to do with the plastic bottles that you can bin. We're not trying to promote those. We want to be able to promote reusable bottles that you can use, and so obviously that goes towards sustainability and keeping the planet, a little bit better. So
what are the subjects then do you think that we should be covering on these podcasts? What do you think, if there are golf clubs watching out there, if there are parents watching out there, if there are kids watching out there, what subjects do you think should we be looking at? I know I've dropped you in it there, sorry.
It's okay. So I think lots of parents might have concerns. Maybe they're a bit apprehensive on how to sort of get their young ones maybe into playing. And I think sometimes they need help and they need a bit of like understanding on how they can sort of where they can go to if they want to go. Obviously, they can go to the golf clubs and things like that. But I think it'd be really good to maybe sort of give them some steps maybe, or what things they should look at, maybe what sort of clubs they can be looking at if they want to buy some clubs, or what kind of coaches would be good, if they should do like group sort of coaching or do separate single coaching and things like that.
Actually, coaching of juniors is something which we haven't done a podcast on, so that's obviously one which we certainly will be covering. Another one, Ali, I'm sure you'll be very much up on this, is safety within junior golf as well. That is an important subject. It's a serious subject, but it's an important one because that is paramount to making sure that people are safe on the golf course, but safe in a safe environment as well.
Yeah, 100%. The juniors need to feel safe around who they're with, the coaches as well, and also to go and talk to their coach about any problems they have, or feel safe to talk to junior organisers and stuff. But I mean, like I said, it's also important to make sure whenever you're in activities and running games, you're doing it in a way that's going to keep all the kids safe, because nobody wants to be either.
There is, obviously, we're going to be talking about some serious subjects. I think we're going to have a fun podcast as well. We're going to do one on rules, so we're going to have a bit of a rules quiz one. Do one. It can be a serious subject. You can get yourself into trouble sometimes, get yourself disqualified if you don't know the rules and things like that. But we'll try and make that a little bit more fun. I think there's going to be loads of subjects which you're going to be covering over the next weeks or so. And I think it's really important we've got the young ambassadors involved in this podcast. I think that you're going to help this podcast. You're going to help golf clubs. You're going to help parents, kids learn more about how it is important to relate to different people within the industry. So great that you're going to be involved in the podcast. I'm sure Djalece is going to be on some of the podcasts, and some of your colleagues are going to be on in weeks and months ahead. So just finally, Ali, just give us that website address for anyone who does want to become a young ambassador, how to get involved, and to your final advice, if you like, for them to get their name down.
So if you head over to the Golf website, click on the job section, it will be under the young ambassadors for tier roles. And one thing I would say is just make sure you're yourself, be happy, be proud of you, get yourself across, and just get your passion about golf across as well. It's so important that we get to see the real side of you, and yeah, that's the thing.
All right, fantastic. Really appreciate it, Ali. Thanks very much, Djalece, as well. There's the England Golf website at the bottom of the screen, englandgolf.org. So get your name down there. But if you want to become a young ambassador, these two are just two perfect examples of why it's important in the golf industry. There are going to be more of these on these podcasts in weeks and months ahead. So hopefully, if you do apply, you're successful, you're going to be on this podcast at some stage as well. So there's one final incentive to get involved. We will be covering lots of different subjects in the weeks and months ahead, but that's the one today. The young ambassadors is what we've been talking about. It's a great thing to get involved with. Thanks very much, Ali. Thanks very much, Djalece. And thanks so much for everyone else for watching. Have a good evening.